right. You might hear a little bit of wind noise from the two fans that I've got sitting here. Let me make sure that the speech chat is functional. Yes, it is. Okay. See here. I've got the latest ready game driver. What is good, everybody? It is the Godfather of VR, the ageless one of the man, Liquid Clay, and we are back with another live stream. Posing the question: are you going to get a 4000?
The underscore C00N1985 said, Lincoln, I'll definitely get one if you buy it for me, rolling on the floor laughing.
Oh boy. You know, let me see that again. Hey, Coon, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, I'm gonna get a 4090. I've been saying that for quite a while, but I guess I wanted to talk a little bit. You know, hold on a second, Coon, if you're still watching. In fact, I already got a 4090. Here, let me show you. There you go. Check that baby out. What you think? So I was having some fun with this on Twitter.
Underscore C00N1985 said, doing well, dude, and you?
I'm doing
Sign
pretty
of the
good.
horns.
I'm doing pretty good. Um, so yeah, we know that the 4090 launches October 12th, and I've been talking to Ham about that. We're both going to get 4090s, and we're both planning to get 4090s day one. The part where we're a little bit different is the brands, because I'm looking to get the Nvidia 4090 because I'm a firm believer that the person that created the product or the technology is usually the best at it. And in the case of Nvidia, they created the technology and they sell it to third-party entities. So I feel like they would probably have the best one. But Ham explained to me otherwise, because third-party entities basically take the basic design, and I think the silicon and whatever else Nvidia sells to them, and then they put their own spin on it, to be simple about it. So we know that for those who've been following this saga with the new cards coming up, EVGA will not be making any more Nvidia cards. In fact, they're not making any more cards, period. Which sounds really weird to me, because they've been partnered with Nvidia for 25 years, and they're citing disrespect on Nvidia's part as to why they're not making any more graphics cards. And so I guess the question was posed, okay, what about AMD? Are you going to make those cards? And they said no. So something sounds really strange about that. You know, you're not going to make any cards because Nvidia's disrespecting you, so why not go to their competitor when you would get more respect? Or or at least get treated a little bit better than what Nvidia's been treating. So that's really sounds weird. I really don't get that. And I guess like the RTX cards that they have been making for, the RTX cards have been like 80% of their business. So there is the belief that there is no way they're going to be able to sustain themselves without making any RTX cards. So I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. It's really, really weird. So anyway, going back to the 3000 cards, we know that at one point, because of COVID and crypto miners and scalpers, they were really, really hard to get. And I swore that I would never give in to the scalpers. Originally, I didn't, because when I got my 3070, I got, long story short, I got that through Best Buy. I had to wait in a line for a few hours, but I got it. And when I got my 3080 Ti, which I bought that off of eBay and gave into a scalper or a crypto miner, whoever he was, I gave the 3070 to my son. And then I turned around and bought a 3070 Ti off of eBay. Again, scalper, possible crypto miner. That card retailed at the time for $600. I paid $675 plus shipping, so I felt like $75 over retail wasn't bad. I was willing to pay that. And then as far as my 3080 Ti goes, at the time it retailed for $1,200. I paid $14 for it. And both cards look like new. I mean, barely touched. But I think these were mining cards. And I made a post on Twitch earlier today that had a video of someone jet washing GPUs. So probably to make them look squeaky clean so they can say that the card has been barely used. But I knew when I bought both of those cards that it was a strong possibility they were mining cards and they probably been running around the clock. So this go round, I refuse to give in to the scalpers because I have a strong enough computer to get the job done, so I don't have to give in to the scalpers. I don't think the crypto miners are going to be an issue because, you know, we had the crypto ban in China and that started things going downhill. All the crypto miners in China started unloading their GPUs on eBay, and so that was a double whammy because they're getting rid of the ones that they got and they're not buying any more of them. And so I think that started the process of GPUs getting a little bit easier to obtain. And
Great Tantrum said, "These new cards are so power hungry I doubt my house will support it. My circuits are already stressed. I already have to watch out what is on." Slim Production said, "What's in up, Clay?"
See, Slim, what's good? How you doing, man? So, to finish up what I was going to say about the 3,000 card situation, where we're at right now is that I guess the Ethereum was the cryptocurrency that everybody was mining, and I guess I don't quite understand how this works, but I guess it's going proof of stake, which I've tried to read that and I don't quite understand it, but all I can say about that is that because it's going proof of stake, crypto miners are going to get little to no money or even lose money, because a YouTuber by the name of Graphically Challenged had posted a chart that people have actually been losing money from mining, you know, losing 4 cents a day, whatever the case may be. So it gives me the impression that crypto mining is almost like the stock market. So in any case, you go to eBay now and there's 3,000 cards all over the place. And I mean, jeez.
Slim Production said, "Them cards expensive."
Yeah, you know what? Because I got you guys on display, let's actually go to eBay for a second and have a look. Whoops. Right here, 3080 Ti. Let's actually have a look at that. Look at this. A Founders Edition 3080 Ti Nvidia. Buy it now for $750. This card retail for $1,200. I paid $1,400 for it. EVGA. Buy it now for $829. Look at this. EVGA 3080 Ti, same Same deal. Right now, 7 bids, $610. There's 6 days left on this auction, so it's got time to jump up in price.
Great Tantrum said, how much for a 3060 Ti?
Well, we can go one of two ways with that. We can look it up on Best Buy, or we can just type it in here and see what the going price is. Look at this. 3060 MSI GeForce 3060, $315 of best offer. Right here, 324 best offer. I mean, anybody that bought a 3060, like, I think if you're a person that's got like a 1060 and you want to upgrade to a 3060, that's great. You know, I think they'll get a little bit cheaper when the 4,000 cards hit, but I mean, right now, look at this. Well, this is bids. I don't know. There might end up being a little bit of a fight. Look at this right here. This here. The current bid, no, that's too much for me. $290, but there's a little under 2 hours left on this auction. And so right here, here's the 3060. Current bid is $237.50 with an hour and a half left on the auction. So I would have to say that you could probably expect to pay somewhere between $250 and $400.
Great Tantrum said, for me I will upgrade my GTX 1080 to a 3060 Ti or 3070. Probably need also a rehaul on other stuff too.
What kind of GPU are you using? What kind of GPU? Not GPU, CPU. What kind of processor? Let's go with 3060 Ti. Let's see if they got any in stock.
Slim Production said, yo Clay, I was thinking about 3090 or 3090 Ti.
You know what? See, Slim, hold on to that thought in a second. Okay, so look at this. Depending on the brand that you buy, now this 3060 Ti is unavailable and it's not revealing the price. And these AIB 3060s are ranging anywhere from like around the $400 range, give or take. So the Nvidia brand, I'm guessing might retail for, oh, there it is. Yeah, $400.
Great Tantrum said, i7 7700 4.20 GHz with 16 GB of system RAM. A 2016 to 17 base CPU.
Okay, so you got an i7 7700. Well, I'll say this. When I started out with my Alienware, it had a 2070 in it. The CPU was an i5 9600K. I upgraded that to an i7 9700K. Eventually, I upgraded to an i9 9900K. And now in this computer that I'm sitting at right now, I have an i9 12900K. And that computer in there has an i7 11700K. Um, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think if you were to upgrade to a 3060, I think you could keep the CPU that you have. I think you'd be fine. Um, I mean, I'm no expert, but I'd like to think that you'll be all right. I mean, the reason why
Great Tantrum said, probably need at least a i9 or i11 based CPU.
For for 3060, I don't think so. I think you'll be, if it comes down to it, I think you'll be fine with the i7 7700 that you got. I'll say this, and this I know for a fact. If you wanted to jump up to say like an i7 9700K, I think you'll definitely be okay there, because at one point that's what I was using when I upgraded my Alienware. I put a 3070 in there and an i7 9700K, and I'm running stuff in VR, so it was getting the job done. The big reason why I ended up needing, where I felt that I needed more horsepower, was I wanted to be in a situation where I could play my racing games, ACC in particular, in VR.
Slim Production said, with the i7 RTX 3060 he be good.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Zero Day Ghost said, no. I'm getting a gaming laptop with an RTX 3050 and AI 510700H. Zero Day Ghost said, 10500H sorry.
I would like to think that you'll be okay with that. I would, if you're gonna play some older, less demanding games, and you don't plan to play VR. But yeah, I was in the middle of explaining the reason why I was going with so much horsepower is because I wanted to play my racing games with the VR settings cranked all the way up, because those games are very demanding, and the original plan was to have enough horsepower to do that and stream from the same PC. But I ended up finding out, like, OBS takes a little chunk of your GPU. So let me show you guys real quick. OBS.
Zero Day Ghost said, in think.
Yeah, I think you'll be all right. So right here,
Zero Day Ghost said, yeah, that would be really, really fun.
Yeah, definitely. Now, if you guys look at this OBS setting right here, right there where the cursor's at, it says CPU 1.6%. That's what it's using, because I got so much, because I got a pretty beefy computer that I'm sitting at right here. The streaming computer in my bedroom that's got the 2070 in it, is taking up about 10% of that CPU, because it's got an i5 9600K in here. Now, let me go to the task manager. And blow this up for you. And you see right here, look at this crazy shit. OBS Studio.
Great Tantrum said, people are saying AMD is in a great opportunity to kill it with the RDNA 3 with the situation with Nvidia.
They do, but we'll come back to that in a second. So,
Hole in Dan's sock said, hey Lincoln, how's your son?
Oh, my son is doing great, Dan Socks. Thanks for asking. He's been busy with school, so he hasn't really put out any content this week on his own channel, because I think school, kind of takes a little bit out of him. So over here, OBS Studio, on this task manager right here, like, the numbers on my GPU, the percentage is jumping around anywhere from 30 to 40%. And then you see right here, OBS Studio right here, the numbers is jumping around. It's anywhere from 15 to 24% of my GPU that
Hole
is
in
taken
Dan's
up.
sock said, "Good man, good."
Excellent, thanks, brother. Appreciate it. So yeah, the OBS Studio, you see that it's taken up right here. Now go back right here to the CPU. It's only showing that it's only 3% of the CPU, but it's taking up to 20% of the GPU. And
Rennie's S said, "How much is it?"
the 4090 is going to retail for $1,600, the Nvidia one. The AIBs, we don't know what their prices are going to be yet. So yeah, you see that OBS Studio is taking up to 20% of my GPU. And so that's why, and then the power usage is high. And that's why I was trying to build my computer as beefy as possible, because that's a lot to try to play these racing games in VR and then stream it through the same PC. That's why I'm going with the 2 PC setup. And so, and I'm not streaming from this computer. I just have OBS open, and through the NDI plugin, it's connected to the computer in my bedroom. And that's where the streaming is coming from. But yet, it's still taking up 20% of my GPU just by simply opening the app. So, where were we at? Let me see. I have to back up. So I guess we can go ahead and now that we got an idea of some of the, oh, I know what it was. See, Slim, you were talking about jumping up to a 3090. Let's see how much is that. Look at this. Price drop. Now here is where Nvidia is looking to catch people. Now according to Jay's 2 cents, you see right here, the 3090 is $1,100.
Great Tantrum said, $1,599 for 4,090, $1,399 for 480 16 GB, and $899 for a 4,080 12 GB, 4,070 really.
Yep. And see, and this is where people are kind of saying that, like Jay's 2 cents was saying that what Nvidia was planning to do, these cards were dropping in price. And I guess what Nvidia was planning to do was let this 3090 drop only so far so they can justify the asking price of the 4080 12 gig. So let's look right here. The 3090 Ti is $1,100. We have another 3090 right here, from Tough Gaming or Asus. That's $1,100 as well, but this is a 3090. It doesn't say anything about a 3090 Ti. 3090, ooh, that's a nice little price drop. $839 for MSI. Right here, what I got right here, the 3080 Ti retail for $1,200 is dropped to $900. So what that does is Nvidia is kind of controlling the market, because, well, they are controlling the market. They're letting these GPUs drop only so far. The scalpers and crypto miners that's trying to dump their GPUs, they have to stay under whatever the retail price is if they want to sell theirs. Because, okay, this 3080 Ti is $900. Anybody asking for over $900 on eBay for a used card is out of their fucking mind. So in my opinion, that's why these 3080 Ti's that I just showed you guys on eBay are going for as little as $700. So we come back up here to this 3090 for $1,100. I guess that's where Nvidia plan to stop the price drop. So they're going to settle at $1,100 so they can justify the price of the 4080 4080 12 gig. So let's check out Nvidia real quick. Let's look at some of these numbers. So scroll through some of this stuff that, okay, here we go right here. Damn, it's gonna be hard for you guys to see it because it's hard for me to see it. So this is with DLSS 3. Okay, better. There we go. There we go. So what card are we talking about right here?
Great Tantrum said, the problem with Nvidia selling their own cards is that they can underbid their competitors who so happen to be their sellers of the tech. It's messed up.
And that's why EVGA bailed out, from what I'm understanding, because one of the things that Nvidia did was put their cards on sale without notifying EVGA, and basically they sold their cards and EVGA couldn't, because they couldn't come down to match, to match the on sale price. Okay, so we're looking at the 3090 here. So this is so from what I'm understanding, what we're looking at right here is, I think like these first 3 games do not support, wait a minute, let me take this back. So I think some of these games support DLSS 3, but in any case, Microsoft Flight Simulator, you're looking at double the performance with the 4090. And where was Cyberpunk? Right here. With Cyberpunk, you're looking at a 300% increase over the 3090 Ti. So let's scroll down some more. Let me come back to the video, because what I want to look at is the 4080 RTX 4090. But this is a chart we could look at. So right here, I guess the 4090 here, these are games that's going to support the new DLSS 3. So with Cyberpunk, you see how much of a huge jump you're going to get, because they are going to use that new, I guess, like ray tracing overdrive or some shit like that, along with DLSS 3. But I want to get back to the 4080. 4090 is beyond fast. The 4080, here we go. The GTX RTX, I'm sorry, 4080, twice as fast.
Great Tantrum said, those numbers are skewed. They are comparing RTX 3090 Ti with no DLSS vs RTX 4090 with DLSS 3 turned on.
From what
of course there will be a big increase in performance.
Okay, let's use this chart for an example, the Great Tantrum. So right here, from what I'm understanding, the way you read this fine print down here, highest game settings, DLSS super resolution performance mode, that is on the 3080 Ti, but the new 4080 12 and 16 gigs will be using this DLSS 3. So given how that technology works, it's understandable why you're seeing such a huge jump. So in any case, these gray bars are the 3080 Ti. You know what? I probably should have went back to go back up to the 3090. Because I know I saw some crazy looking shit. There was one graph in particular that like really caught my attention. See if I can find it. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. So with this chart right here, the gray represents the 3090 Ti. The dark green is the 4080 12 gig. The medium green is the 4080 16 gig, and the light green is the 4090. So here's where they kind of catch you on this bullshit. So let's focus on the 4080 12 gig. So right here, a game like, ooh, yep, this is how they planned it. Okay, so Resident Evil Village, all these games, right? Let me see here. These first three games: Resident Evil Village, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and The Division 2. The 3090 and the 4080 12 gig are within the same ballpark, but where they kind of catch you on that bullshit is that when you look at it, the 3090 still goes for $1,100, and you thinking for $200 less, you're getting the same performance with these first three games. And then you come over here to these other two games, Flight Simulator and Warhammer. You're getting pretty much double the performance, damn near. Let's see here, with the 4080, you're getting almost 1.5 times the performance on Warhammer. And then over here on Microsoft Flight Simulator, you're getting almost double the performance with the 4080 12 gig. And then you come over here to these last three. Let's look at Cyberpunk in particular. You're getting 2.5 times the performance with a 4080 12 gig over the 3090 Ti. And see, and that's where they caught you with that bullshit, how they justifying the price. So, yeesh. I'm not a tech guy, so it's not my place to say that the 4080 12 gig should be a 4070. It's not my place to say it. All I can say is the way they priced this shit and the way they structured this shit, to me, if you're looking to get a 3090 Ti, it doesn't make sense.
Great Tantrum said, the most awesome thing I saw Nvidia did was bring out a ray tracing mod that can modify old games. I think that is awesome.
Yeah, it is, but I can't grasp how incredible that is until I actually get the card in my hand, because again, I'm not a tech guy. All I'm really trying to do is pointing out that whether you think it's bullshit or not, with the 4080 12 gig, the way they laid this shit out is, if you looking to get a 3090 Ti, unless you want to gamble on one on eBay, it doesn't make sense to me. You might as well try to get the 4080 12 gig, because when you jump into these games that's going to support DLSS 3, you're going to be getting 1.5 to triple the performance of the 3090 Ti. So let's come back over here to eBay and let's see what people are selling, asking for the 3090 Ti. So we've already established that the retail of the Nvidia one is $1,100. So let's see what people are asking on. Holy shit! Look at this. Well, there's still one day left of bidding. Right here, we got a 3090 Ti Founders Edition. One day, 17 hours left on the auction. $810 is the highest bid so far. Unfortunately, it doesn't make sense for me to try to bid on it. I promise you, I could make a bid on that right now, and by this time tomorrow, that price is going to be jacked up by at least another $100. Then,
Great Tantrum said, "It all comes down to price. Is it worth it to spend more for a RTX 4080?
That's just it though. Against the 3090, you're actually spending less money. And that's where they get you. Even if it's a 4070 disguised as a 4080, it still outperforms on the majority of the games that we just looked at on that chart. It looks like it outperforms the 3090 Ti at $200 less retail. So like it or not, what they did with the pricing of the 4080 12 gig, it still remains a no-brainer that you would want to get that over the 3090 Ti. So look at this right here. We've got this second one down for $1,300, $1,299.99, 3090 Ti, $1,200 or best offer. He is smoking that goddamn shit, because now the card retails for $1,100 at Best Buy. He's asking $200 over retail. He has lost his fucking mind.
Great Tantrum said, "Oh, you are right. I looked at that wrong." Great Tantrum said, "The RTX 4080 12GB seems like a better deal."
It is, and it outperforms. That's the whole thing. So, okay, look. I guess where the outrage is that a lot of people feel like the 4080 12 gig should actually be the 4070. And if Nvidia would have called that the 4070, then people feel like Nvidia should have been charging $500 or $600 for it instead of $900. So they've already made a predetermination of something that hasn't even hit the market yet. They've already made a determination of what they feel the card is worth. You didn't manufacture it. In my opinion, you're not really in a position to dictate what it should cost, something brand new that hasn't hit the market yet. And you're dictating what it should cost? You know, I manufactured something inside my own home, and I tell you what I've made, and I tell you what its expected performance are, and you tell me what you think is, worth. You can tell me what you're willing to spend for it, but I don't think you're in a position to tell me what you think is worth. And that's where, okay, even if the 4080 12 gig were to be called the 4070, I still think that based on what it's supposed to be able to do, I still think Nvidia would still be in a position to at least ask for $800 for it. So, but yeah, you look at these 3090 Ti's here. That, like this one right here for $810. That's the current bid. There's still almost 2 days left on the auction. It's not going to stay at that 810. People are going to fight it out at the last second. I find that out about eBay. Is people wait until like the last hour to try to slip a bid in, and that's when all the real fighting starts. So I think what's ultimately going to happen.
Great Tantrum said, "The problem is people will think it is a 4080. But it is not."
Again, I don't think that's a spot. I wouldn't be in a position to say this is what it should be. this is what it should cost.
Fortnite 360 Hz said, you need to change your PSU just so everyone knows, don't waste your money on it.
I'm getting one. And if I have
Fortnite 360 Hz said, you need to update your PSU. Fortnite 360 Hz said, adapters, you will make a fire.
And that's the other thing. The product hasn't hit the market yet, but people are predicting that it's going to catch on fire, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. I don't get it. When the AMD cards hit, from what everybody's been
Clark
saying.
Kent said, your microphone is making wind noises, you need a wind blocker. Great Tantrum
just a minute
said, need at least a 1000 watt or better.
Yeah, as far as the GPU, as far as the PSU goes, the power supply unit. As far as that goes, I have a 1000 watt Corsair. I forgot 100% what it's called. Let me bring up my specs. Let's see here. Documents. Sim racing specs. So these are the specs of all three of my PCs. So right here, the one that I'm sitting at right here, Voltron, it's got the PSU is a Core
X said, wait, did they say this about the 3000 series? Great Tantrum said, it was found that on boot the card draws a lot of charge. That is where a fire can happen if the cable to your power supply is not to spec for such a load charge. Fortnite 360 Hz said, I have 1600 watt Corsair but not sure if I am comfortable using an adapter for the PCIe 5. Slim Production said, Clay, would that 4090 fit in your case? X said, should I try and snag a 3070 or wait it out?
I guess that depends on what you were working with and what you're willing to spend. Because, looking at the PC specs of all three of my PCs, so the one that I'm sitting at right now is called Voltron. I've got an i9 12900K in here, 3080 Ti. The PSU, I have a Corsair RM1000X, 1000 watts. Now, from what I've heard about not what I've heard, I guess what they're saying about the 4090 is that you would need a PSU of at least 850 watts. So I should be covered there. But if I have to upgrade, I will. So what's going to happen is what I'm asking now about this potential fire hazard or whatever. Are they going to be saying the same thing about the AMD cards? Because the way I'm understanding it with the AMD cards, they already know that they can't beat Nvidia. So I guess what they're looking to do is give you value for your money rather than try to outpower Nvidia. But from what I'm understanding, these cards are still supposed to come within the ballpark of the Nvidia 4000 cards. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, everybody went from being excited about these 4000 cards to everybody trashing them. I mean, people hollering about the price, the DLSS 3 because it's artificially inserting frames in between frames. People are talking about artifacting and stuff like that, and so it's I mean, when it was already revealed that
Fortnite 360 Hz said, it's something to do with the ATX 3.0 as the older PSU are ATX 2.0.
you know, again, you know, if I have to update, because I'm not a tech guy, but if I have to update, then I'll just look up I'll just look up what the recommended PSU is that I should get. Um,
X said, I'm sitting on a Ryzen 5 1600X and a 1070, so I'm thinking of getting a 3070 and waiting for the Zen 4 series, but Raptor Lake looks real nice.
he's sitting on a Ryzen 5 1600 and a 1070, so I'm thinking of giving a 1070, waiting for the Zen 4 series. See, again, I'm not that much of a tech guy. The only thing I can say is, you know, and I definitely don't know about the Ryzen shit because like all of the all of the gaming computers that I've had have had an RTX card in it and they've had Intel CPUs. So if you tell me you got a Ryzen 5 this or AMD that, I basically have to look it up to see what the Intel in the RTX equivalent is or GTX or whatever you might be using. So,
Great Tantrum said, DLSS 3 DAO's motion interpolation, which is similar to motion smoothing on TV's fake frames. But Nvidia hopes you won't care as long as latency is fast.
myself, I could care less about DLSS 3 Tantrum because ACC, for instance, the racing game that I play, DLSS looks like dog shit through the VR headset. So I don't even use it. So I want the 4090 based on its raw rendering and not the DLSS shit. Yeah, not these magic tricks. So if I like
Fortnite 360 Hz said, I'd rather wait for the Raptor Lake CPU instead of jumping to a 40 series card. Get a faster CPU with the updated PSU, which probably makes it the most compatible.
the CPU, boy, I paid a pretty penny for the i9 12900K that I have. I bought that CPU only a couple of months after it hit the market. I think it hit the market in like November of whatever year it came out last year, whatever the case may be. And I think I bought that shit. I think I bought that shit maybe April, back in the spring or something like that. So I'm not about to turn around and drop another $600 for i9 13900K or whatever is coming up. Um, I'm going to go ahead and stick with this i9 12900K for at least a couple of more years. Um, Something else to consider too is the numbers that these charts that Nvidia gave us. Let me see here. This was on a 4090 down here at the bottom, the fine print. You guys can't see it, so I'll read it out. It was on a 4090 on an i9 12900K with 32 gigs of RAM. I've got an i9 12900K with 64 gigs of RAM.
Fortnite 360 Hz said, in your case just get the PSU updated. Fortnite 360 Hz said, also is your motherboard DDR5 or DDR4?
It's DDR4. The reason why I went with that is because at the time that I built this computer, the chip shortage and all kinds of other bullshit was making it really hard to get. So I could have went with, at the time that I was looking to build this computer that I'm sitting at here, there was a DDR5 motherboard available, but there wasn't any DDR5 RAM out there. So when I built this computer, because my Alienware had took a crap. So I was originally going to buy a pre-built computer, but my friend Ham said, wait. He said,
Clark
anything.
Kent said, when GTA 6 comes out, people will cough up the cash for the latest cards.
Yep. Yep. So all this crying that people doing right now, Clark Kent, all that shit gonna stop when GTA 6 hit. So Fortnite, coming back to the motherboard thing. Um, so my Alienware took a dump. I was gonna buy a
Fortnite
pre-board.
360 Hz said, DDR4 is fine, only advantage of DDR5 is for PCIe 5 for bandwidth. What you are saying makes sense, it's fine.
Yeah, so what I did was I contacted, well, Ham said, anything you plan on buying, he said, send me the specs first, let me look at it. He was like, nope, this is rubbish, that's garbage. And then I said, okay, how about this? Why don't I build one? So I gave him, and this is from the UK. I gave him my zip code, and he looked up the Best Buy that was closest to me. And what we did was we checked what they had in stock. He said, based on what they had in stock, if you want to be able to just walk in there into the store and pick the stuff up right off the shelf, this is what they got in stock. This is the best stuff that they have in stock. And so that's why I went with the DDR4, and I went with the MSI Z690 Pro motherboard, which I think that was about $360.
Nick's Eyes VFX said, YSWDSD.
I don't know what that means, so you probably have to be a little more specific. Good sir, good person. So yeah, this conversation is kind of taking me way off the tracks, because I would start to say something and then you guys would comment, and then because you guys definitely got some good comments, because some shit I don't know about, some shit I'm opinionated about. So, but I absolutely love this though. And
Nick's Eyes VFX said, bacon 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 bacon.
Oh, he came in here. It looks like a scammer, because he's not showing up. He's not showing up in the chat right here, because I was getting ready to ban his ass. So this is some hotshot that found a way to spam the shit out of the speech chat. All right. So yeah, I can't find him to get him out of here. So yeah, for me, I'm going to get a 4090. I'd like to think that what I'm already working with will be enough. But if it's not, then I will upgrade anything that needs to be upgraded. So now the question is, coming back to, let me see, did I take that down yet? The specs of all three of my computers. Let me go back to that, because I'm going to have an extra graphics card on my hands that I have to figure out what to do with it. So coming back to my specs again. So you guys right there, you see
Nick's Eyes VFX said, Jafo Hojstoif Hoyas Jaf Kiz da Oiflixadf Kiz Hofa Hisadik Pask Fwiadshvia.
Oh boy. Yeah, I think we found somebody found a way to scam the
Nick's Eyes VFX said, FGHVIAKERHGFOAIERHG.
Alright, we'll take care of that. We'll just close it. So they want to be cute like that. All right, so coming back to my specs. So right here, Voltron has, you guys heard me say it, i9 12900K 3080 Ti, Corsair 1000 watts, 64 gigs of RAM, MSI Mag, Coreliquid, water cooler, Z69, motherboard, storage. I've got a Samsung 980 Pro, a 970 EVO, two Western Digital 500 SSDs, and I've got a Seagate 5 terabyte external. Come back to the chat. Said the hackers are having a ball. Yep. So, with them gone, I guess we'll try this one more time for the speech chat. And if they come in here again, then I'll just close the speech chat again. So my second PC, this one is named Voltron Jr. I've got an i7 11700K 3070 Ti. PSU is a Thermaltake Smart 700, really cheap. It was only $55. 32 gigs of RAM. CPU is a Cooler Master Hyper 12, you know, with the pipes and all that shit. One of those. Motherboard is a Z490 MSI. Storage is a Western Digital 500 gig M.2 drive, 500 gig Western Digital SATA SSD. And then my third PC, and some of this is stuff that I've taken from my original Alienware. It's got an Intel i5 9600K, a 2070. Same thing with the PSU, Thermaltake 700 watt. RAM, I only put 16 gigs in this one because it's supposed to be, I'm using it as pretty much strictly a streaming PC, and I play less demanding games on there. And same deal with the storage, 500 gig Western Digital M.2, Western Digital 500 gig SSD. So where that leaves me is once I get the 4090, which is going to go in Voltron.
Fortnite 360 Hz said, computers will constantly change, just keep what you have if you are happy. I have an i9 11th gen with 3080 Ti and I am happy. Nobody really needs a 4090. Also, before you know it, there will be a PCIe 6.
You would be true about that, but my reasons for getting it is that I sim race in VR, and a SATA Corsa Competizione, the VR optimization is not very good. That is a game where clearly the more power you have, the better GPU that you have, the better visuals you're going to get out of it. Ham, my good friend, has a 3090 Ti, and he still has has hit the ceiling, and he's still using the 2 PC setup. For the most part, it looks decent, but I've had to play with the graphical settings where I've had to turn shadows down or turn down the distance at how far, how close I have to get before the shadows are rendered and that kind of stuff. So a 4090 should allow me to race in VR on ACC and turn all the settings up across the board, no compromises. And that's what I'm dealing with right now with this 3080 Ti racing. And so if I raced in flat screen, I wouldn't need a 4090 because this 3080 would be more than enough. But because I race in VR and I
Great Tantrum said, Rensport, Unreal 5 based engine, is coming, and who knows what you need for it if VR is supported.
from if now from what I'm understanding about Unreal 5, I guess it's supposed to automatically scale up or down to the platform that a particular game is being
Fortnite
developed for.
360 Hz said, "At least you're buying it for a reason. For me it would not make it a difference for what I use it for. I want to get a few years before I do a major overhaul."
Yeah, I get it. So yeah, so like what I'm dealing with right now with my current setup is I've got my settings turned up pretty good, but I've had to tweak. I've had to turn this down in order to get this, or I had to put this in the middle. There's a lot of stuff that I had to tweak. So I had to make some compromises with the settings. So, okay, case in point, I showed you guys how much GPU the OBS eats up when I showed you that on the task manager. Now, when I play ACC in VR, if I don't open up OBS, I can crank the graphics all the way up. But because OBS takes up a little bit of your CPU, that's where I have to play with the settings. Because I have to bring it down enough to where it still runs good.
Clark Kent said, "How long can you play VR before getting sick?" Great Tantrum said, "The main reason to upgrade is if you are not happy with the performance in VR or you want ultra refresh rate / frame rates.
I want it all across the board, and that's why I'm going with the 4090, because the 4090 should be able to give me a situation where I can crank up everything with no compromises. And so, long story short, that if I'm playing ACC in VR by itself, I can turn the settings all the way up and still get a decent performance. But the minute I open up OBS, then the frames start to drop, and then I have to start playing with those settings and turn down shadows and turn down distances, that kind of stuff, to get a good frame rate. So a 4090 should put me in a position where I can crank everything up, and the 10, 15, 20% that OBS would take off of the GPU won't be an issue. Now, to answer the question about how long I can play VR, I had to develop my VR legs, as they say. I had to build up a tolerance for it. Now that I've built up a tolerance for VR, I can play all day if I have to. I mean, not if I have to, if I want to. If you go back and check some of my streams, check my library, I've got streams where I raced in VR for 4 hours. I might take the headset off for about 5-10 minutes, grab a quick drink, and then, speaking of drink, thirsty, starting to get a little bit raspy. So even though I'm moving around, you guys can still hear me because I'm wearing a wireless headset. But yeah, I gotta grab a drink real quick. And you guys are gonna hear me gulping because this mic picks up everything. So sorry. Whew, needed that. But yeah, I love racing in VR. I think it's the closest that you're gonna get to actually being on a racetrack. And that's another reason why I want the 4090, is because when it comes to VR, especially ACC, because it's poorly optimized for VR, when you're sitting inside the car, the picture is razor sharp.
Great Tantrum said, "Down the hatchet."
Right. So, again, when I'm sitting inside the car in VR, with any game for that matter, the picture inside the car is razor sharp. It's the environment in the distance that gets a little bit blurry too. And then when you have to play with the settings, in order to offset what OBS is taking from the GPU, it makes the environment in the background look that much more blurry. And when it comes to sim racing in VR, the further you can see into the distance, the better you can plan out how you're going to
Fortnite
approach a corner.
360 Hz said, I only use my computer in 1080p and get 360 Hz in Fortnite in low settings, but the picture still looks decent, and I am running 128 GB RAM on a Seagate Firecuda 530. The computer absolutely flies.
I'll use my computer.
Fortnite 360 Hz said, really depends on what people are looking for.
I think when they showed that chart, the Nvidia chart, I might have to look for it again, but I think they showed Rainbow Six and Fortnite was running at like 600 frames or some shit like that. And I think it ended up being capped. Yeah, right here. So this is the latency versus the frames per second. And what was it? Right here, Fortnite, 600 frames. Ooh wee, at 1440p. Now, even if the frames are artificially inserted, that's 600 frames. Who the hell needs to play a game with that high of a frame rate? Frame rate wise,
Fortnite 360 Hz said, you need to cap the frames according to your monitor, which I have a 360 Hz monitor. You should not run 600 frames. Fortnite 360 Hz said, the frames will skip.
I'd imagine that, or you might,
Clark Kent
or I imagine you might get some screen tearing.
600 is perfect for the old plasma TVs.
And see, I'm not sitting at a
Clark
monitor.
Kent said, the plasma TVs were 600 Hz.
Yeah, but the plasma TVs, I think the first generation of plasma TVs were notorious for screen burning, if I'm not mistaken. So everything that I have in my apartment, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, and everything in here is 60 Hertz. I'm sitting at a 65-inch TV right here that I'm using as my PC monitor at 60 Hertz. A TV in the bedroom is 60
Great
Hertz.
Tantrum said, at Fortnite 360 Hz that seems way overkill. 60 Hz/60 FPS already looks smooth to me. In VR my Rift S does 80 Hz/80 FPS and I cannot see the frame rate as it looks ultra smooth.
And then my computer in there is connected to a monitor, but the monitor is like 15
Fortnite
years
360 Hz said, I still have my plasma TV 600 Hz Panasonic TV have horrible input lag.
Yeah, but for the most part, I don't use this TV because I know TVs have I know the input lag, you know, with the milliseconds and stuff like that. I know it's horrible. But all I really do is just like, since I race this computer right here, I pretty much use this computer strictly for sim racing and VR. I don't really play any games on it. So the latency that I deal with on this TV doesn't really even come into play because I don't play all that many games on it. But yeah, again, everything that, you know, most of the games that I play are in VR. So I don't see the need to grab a monitor or a TV that does 120 Hz.
Fortnite 360 Hz said, TV are for console players, not so much PC. Chwags 412 said, "Thing is a beast."
Oh yeah, absolutely. Jay Wags, how you doing, my guy? Um, so yeah, Fortnite. I really don't use my TV. I don't really game all that much. The flat screen games. I game in VR, and all the TVs are for is just as a navigation screen. You know, click on this to activate the VR, and once I get it all activated, then put the headset on, and then you know, these Oculus Quest
Clark
headsets that I
Kent
have, you know, go up to 90
said,
hertz.
"My LG OLED TV is good for input lag. It has 120 Hz, HDMI 2.1 and GSYNC. Great Tantrum said, "I use TV for PC gaming. I hate tiny screens that cost almost the same as a 50-inch. That's just me though. Plus TVs usually have better picture quality than PC monitors."
Well, Tantrum, as far as you, I definitely get that part where you're talking about.
Fortnite 360 Hz said, "Also make sure you are using DisplayPort to get the most frames. Don't use HDMI, you lose frames."
hmm Um, if I was flat screen gaming, I could get that. But again, you know, all these, being that I game in VR, the only purpose the TV serve for me is when I first boot up the computer, I gotta type in my you know, my PIN number. Then I gotta open up the Oculus app and all that stuff. And then once I activate the VR headset, I put the headset on, and then I can pretty much turn the TV off, because from there I can navigate everything inside the headset. So the TVs, the biggest purpose that these TVs serve is basically just a boot, you know, for me to be as a navigation screen until I get the PCs, till I get the headsets booted up, the VR headsets. So, but you know, Tantrum, I get what you're saying about um, a monitor costing just as much as a 50-inch TV. I totally get what you're coming from there. Um, Now, the quality of a PC versus of a monitor, I think that's subjective, because it depends on what TV you got and it depends on what monitor you got. Because this 15-year-old 1080p monitor that I got in there still looks amazing. Some of the games still look amazing. And then as far as, I feel like I don't really need more than 60 frames, um, especially being that I don't play flat screen games that much. Um, if I'm playing a game where the frame rate is higher than what the monitor can do, and I turn on VSync, that usually, you know, eliminates the screen tearing. I understand that it can create a little more input lag, but a lot of these games, like first person shooter games and shit like that, I suck at. So um, being able to have a split second twitch for me don't really make a difference, because I'm an old ass dude. It takes forever to turn left. I'm like, you know. So
Fortnite 360 Hz said, "Depends on the game you play. On a game like Fortnite, a TV won't be good. Shooting games are about frames and low input lag. A car racing game will be fine on a TV, not Fortnite." Great Tantrum said, "Okay. Where I come from is I play PlayStation 4 Pro and I play PC. Thus I use my TV for both systems."
the hacker tried to come back, so I had to shut off the I had to shut off the speech chat before it ran off his bacon, bacon, bacon 36 times again. So Now, Fortnite, yeah, you see right there that burger thing. I had to shut it off. Fortnite, you sound like a guy that's very, very competitive in Fortnite. All right, and he's gone. I really don't know what the purpose of that was to come in here and spam the text to speech. So yeah, Fortnite. You sound like you're very, very competitive at Fortnite. So I'm led to believe that split second response is definitely something that you want, and I can't knock that because again, with me wanting the 4090 for the best visuals when I play my racing games in VR, this isn't just for cosmetics. This is for performance because the further out I can see a corner, the better I can prepare for it. If the screen is so blurry that I don't see the corner until the last second, you go fly right off the track. You said my kid likes it. He does not like ghosting, so monitors make a difference. I'd imagine. Um, Somewhere down the road, I do plan on getting a 1440 monitor with probably like at least like 75 hertz, because I don't want to spend $400 or $500 for a 1440 144 hertz monitor. So um, speaking of the fastest frame rates, how many of you guys gonna get that? I know I'm switching gears for a split second. We can come back to this GPU thing here in a minute. But how many of you are planning on getting the Modern Warfare open beta? Let's go to the store page on this real quick, and then I'll bring the speech chat back up. So if the spammers return, we'll take care of them. So this thing is getting mixed reviews. And let's see here. I'm reading off the first one right here. The game can be great, but rewards camping way too much and feel like it punishes you for rushing. For example, nameplate over the enemy's heads doesn't appear when prone. Footsteps are loud. You can hear people through whole buildings. Dead silence is broken. Activation time and animations are unnecessary. Loud audible beep when activated and humming while active makes it pretty much useless. I pre-ordered the game, but forget it. I'm requesting a refund.
Clark Kent said, last time I tried COD it kept getting stuck with a bug.
Okay, so I'm going to get to that in a second. Let me read a couple of more of these negative comments because this seems like this beta's been taking a lot of
Fortnite
heat.
360 Hz said, my kid tried playing Fortnite on PS4. He did not like it. He did notice a big difference on PC.
Oh, absolutely. Especially on PS4 when you're talking about a lot of games running at 30 frames per second. Whereas with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, a lot of games seem to give you the option to run them at 60 frames per second. Now, what the resolution may be is another matter. But yeah, I definitely get that because I got some shit in here. I got 3 gaming computers. I've got a total of 5 computers in here, but I've got 3 gaming computers, a PS5, a PS4 Pro, an Xbox One S, uh, 4 headsets, 4 VR headsets. I've got 2 Oculus Quest 2s, an Oculus Rift S, and a PlayStation VR. The only reason why I even use my PlayStation Pro is for the original PSVR.
Great Tantrum said, I tested games at 50 Hz vs 60 Hz. I stepped away and didn't realize I was at 50 Hz when I thought it was 60 Hz. That is proof to me there is a law of diminishing returns.
That's interesting. Let me let me proofread that comment. I tested games at 50 hertz versus 60 hertz. I stepped away and didn't realize. I'd probably say, yeah, if a game's running at 50 hertz, if it's a consistent...
Fortnite 360 Hz said, from 60 Hz to 240 Hz there is a big difference. From 240 Hz to 360 Hz very slight the difference. My kid noticed that.
I wouldn't have been able to notice it. I'm not gonna lie. The only way, like, I think that, like, if something's running at 60 hertz and something's running at 120 hertz, I think the only way I would notice the difference is I'm watching a Digital Foundry video where they got the split screen side by side. That might be the only way that I would be able to notice it. Otherwise, I wouldn't. That being said, I probably wouldn't be able to see the difference between 50 frames and 60 frames. Now, if the frames are dropping up and dropping down to 40 and then jumping up to 80 and shit like that, yeah, you're definitely gonna see the difference. But if it's like a consistent 50 frames,
Clark Kent said, just because you don't notice better specs, doesn't mean it isn't better. People were saying we don't need 1080p, or more than 64K RAM. Fortnite 360 Hz said, it's because he builds and edit in Fortnite it's faster.
And for me, when it comes to flat screen games, I'm good with 4K 60. I mean, I don't have a device, a display device that goes over 60 hertz anyway. Now there are some games out there that even though I'm displaying at 60 hertz, I guess the game is still running at a faster frame rate. But yeah, I mean, like when it comes to flat screen games, 4K, 60 frames seems to be fine for me. Now, when it comes to VR, 90 frames is kind of like status quo to get a smooth experience. But when it comes to VR, if you're at like 60 frames or below, then yeah, you definitely gonna see it. You're gonna see some judder, some jank. But anyway, what I wanted to, like, just putting this shit in a nutshell, with this Modern Warfare beta, I actually had fun with it. It ran good on all my PCs and my PS5. I mean, I was playing on PC and my son was playing on PS5. And it ran good on both of them. It looked good on both of them. The PC version looks slightly better than the PS5, but I mean, like, the shit is so slight that you would have to look at, like go back and forth like this 1,000 times before you see the difference. And it's only slight. So if you're playing, in my case, I thought about buying the game on the PS5, but once I plugged that DualSense controller into the computer, and it brought up a link which took me to a Sony app
Clark
that
Kent
supports the DualSense.
said, which VR headset are you using?
I'm using the Quest 2 because out of all my headsets, the Quest 2 has the highest resolution. Out of the box, it comes out of the box at like 1948p or something like that. But they did some updates that'll let you take it up to 4K. And then in the case of once you connect it to a PC, you can bump the resolution all the way up. It maxes out at 2736. So when I play ACC in VR, I've got the headset maxed out at 2736. And then again, I've got OBS open, which takes up 20% that you guys saw. And that's why I have to play with the settings, the graphical settings. Because I've got the headset maxed out at 2736p. And then I've got OBS open, which is taking up 20% of the GPU. So the graphical settings within the game, that's why I had to play with some of the settings with the shadows, with the draw distance and all that kind of shit. I had to play around with those settings. The 4090, like I said, should allow me to...
Fortnite 360 Hz said, it looks better the games because the 30 series GPU are capable of 8K graphics. That could be a reason not much is in 8K, but that could be a possible reason.
Mm-hmm. Again, if it wasn't for the VR, I wouldn't need a 4090. I would be fine with all the stuff that I got right here. And again, a 4090 is going to allow me to, it should allow me to crank up everything across the board. I'm still going to go with the 2 PC setup. And the shipping duties, the streaming duties will still be handled by my streaming PC. But yeah, again, the 4090 should allow me to keep the headset maxed out as far as the resolution goes and allow me to crank up the graphical settings. If I can't max them all the way out, I should still be able to come pretty damn close. Or if I keep the current settings that I have, the 4090 should allow me to up the frame rate because I run my headset at 72 hertz. And I think the Quest 2 can go up to 120 hertz. There's no way that a 3080 Ti is going to be able
Clark
to...
Kent said, you're gonna make me get a Quest 2 and 4090 and try your car games. Fortnite 360 Hz said, I heard 4090 Ti will have 48 GB of RAM. That's crazy.
Yikes. Well, I'll say this about if you're talking about getting a Quest 2. So right now, again, the 3080 Ti that I have, if I just play like the majority of my VR games, the 3080 is enough to run these games at Ultra. It's ACC. That's where the issue comes in because the developers used Unreal Engine 4. And the developers said that Unreal Engine 4 was a very generic engine and it lacked a lot of features.
Clark
and
Kent
they said that's why the VR
said,
was bad on it.
No way. When is the 4090 Ti coming out?
October 12th. It's coming out October 12th. So the devs of ACC, again, were saying that the Unreal Engine 4 was
Fortnite
generic.
360 Hz said, not sure if November.
Yeah, Nvidia already announced it. October 12th. The 4080s are supposed to come out.
Fortnite 360 Hz said, will take 600 to 800 watts to power a 4090 Ti.
That, from what I understand, I think they said it would take 450 watts, but I guess if you play around with, some other shit that like flew over my head, then yeah, you're looking at about 600 watts. So coming back to um, Clark Kent, the 3080 Ti that I have currently is enough to run any of my VR games ultra. But ACC, again, because it was built with a generic engine, the VR optimization is poor. If I just play the game by itself in VR, I can crank everything up. It's when I open up OBS and I got the
Fortnite
resolution of the headset maxed out, is
360
where the problem
Hz.
comes in.
Said 4090 Ti will be highest of all 40 series cards.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that because the 4090 is going to do what I need it to do, I don't feel like I'm going to need a 4090 Ti. Currently, with the 3080 Ti that I have, because I bought it from a scalper, I paid $200 over retail, and I did not see the point of spending an extra $400-500 on eBay to get a 3090 at the time, because at the time 3090s were still going anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 on eBay, and I spent $1,400 for my 3080 Ti. I did not see the point of spending an extra $500 to $1,000 to only get 3 or 4 or 5 more extra frames from a 3090. And because of what I expect the 4090 to do, I don't think I'm going to need a 4090 Ti. I think this is going to be it. And then for the next set of Corsa, the devs over at Kunos, they're building
Fortnite
their own engine.
360 Hz. Said it's only 4% increase from 3090 coming from 3080 Ti.
Exactly. So I didn't see the point of spending $500 to $1,000 for an extra 4%. It didn't make sense. Oh, another game that I can't wait to see in VR when I get that 4090, because it is Formula 122. It already looks good right now, but in order to keep a smooth frame rate, I have it is set to medium settings. Some things are on medium, some things are set to low. So I'll just call it low medium settings. That 4090 should allow me to crank it up to high settings. I don't know if I'll be able to max it out in VR and still maintain 2736 for the resolution.
Fortnite 360 Hz. Said I have it.
You have a 4090? Well, I mean, if you were jumping from like
Fortnite 360 Hz. Said F1 2022 runs fine on my computer, have it on high, seems fine.
That's if you're playing it flat screen. I'm talking about in VR. I play F1 22 in VR. If you crank it up to high, it's going to run like dog shit. So again, I've got my VR headset cranked all the way up to 2736. I've got OBS open, which is also taking up 20%
Clark
of the
Kent
GPU.
Said, do you play MS Flight Sim in VR?
I have the game, and I have a flight stick. I definitely play Star Wars Squadrons.
Fortnite 360 Hz.
Here's my flight stick.
Said, no, I have 3080 Ti. Yeah, flat screen, you're right.
Oh, okay, yeah. Again, that's what I'm saying. Like, All this stuff that I'm talking about, if I played 100% flat screen games, I would not need a 4090 whatsoever. This 3080 Ti would be fine because it can run just about any game 4K 60. So I would be fine, but it's VR. People don't get how demanding VR is. And Clark Kent, Flight Sim is not only Flight Sim is one of the most demanding games out there, whether you're playing it flat screen or VR. I did a stream about I think about a year ago when I was on my 3070. I did a stream of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I haven't been back yet, but once I get this 4090, I'm definitely coming back to Flight Sim because I want to be able to crank this shit up and see all that stuff in VR because some people find Flight Sim boring, but when you're flying over a city that you're familiar with, especially when you're flying over that city in VR, it's
Fortnite 360 Hz said. Then I am glad I am not getting a 4090 cause I don't play VR, so makes sense what you are saying.
In just about every game that I play in VR. I play a few flat screen games here and there. Like this past weekend, I've been playing that Modern Warfare beta. I've actually been having a lot of fun with that. I am going to get that. But yeah, the majority of the games that I play are in VR. And so yeah, a lot of people don't understand how much VR taxes the hardware. That's why PlayStation VR, some of the games is blurry on there. The headset is 1080p, and then these games are very demanding. So from what I understand, that was the main reason that Sony built the PlayStation Pro, was to be able to run the PlayStation VR to their satisfaction. Because I understand some games look like
The underscore C00N1985 said, VR is king.
Hey, you know what, Kuhn? We still got to get that game of VR chess in on PlayStation VR. I know we talked about doing that over a year ago. We still got to get that in. I suck at chess, man, but we still got to play that game. I actually got a chess game on the Oculus Quest. You can play a standard chess game, or you can play like one of those Star Wars type chess games, or you got like creatures and stuff that'll pick one of the other creatures up and throw them or something like that when you take a piece on the board. This in VR, I did that a while ago. That was a pretty neat game. I haven't been back to it.
Fortnite 360 Hz said, don't compare consoles with PC. The PC is way better. A power supply costs as much as a PS5. That's my point. You can't compare the two.
I agree, but I disagree. What I'm trying to explain to people when I bring up PlayStation VR is I understand now why a lot of those games are blurry, because the console doesn't have near as much power as a PC does to make the game look good.
The underscore C00N1985 said, I have a Quest 2, just let me know.
Oh, well, shoot. You need to send me your, what is your,
Fortnite 360 Hz said, my Corsair 1600 watts was 700.00, as much as a PS5.
My Corsair 1000 was about 200. Which at the time that I bought it, I was like, damn, that's a little bit pricey. Especially seeing that my other two PCs have a 700 watt supply power supply that was $55. Now, the reason why I agree with you, but I disagree with you on the console to PC comparison is price to performance. I feel that the PS5, for what you're getting based on what it's capable of doing, I feel it's worth every bit of $500. Based on some of the visual tests that I've done, you know, like looking back and forth and stuff like that, I think the PS5 is the equivalent of a 2060, maybe a 2070. And as far as the frames goes, what the console can do as far as the frame goes, I don't think we'll really know, because it depends on the game, and then a lot of the developers lock the frame rate at either 30 or 60. But I think for the simple fact that a lot of games on the PlayStation 5 can do 1440 60 or 2160 60, I think it's worth the $500, because you know what? So let me show you guys something. Because in my opinion, for what the PS5 can do, you will not be able to build a PC for $500 to do what the PS5 can do. Let me come back to my specs again for a second. Down here, my third PC, the streaming PC, named Bumble Bee. The case is a Corsair
Fortnite 360 Hz. Said, I think PS5 is 120 Hz and PS4 is 60 Hz. Clark Kent said, consoles are better optimized for performance, you have to work to optimize games on PC.
Yeah. Now, I don't disagree with that, but I still go back to my point that for what a PS5 can do, you're not going to be able to build a computer that can do what a PS5 can do for $500. And so with me bringing up this stat right here, the case, a Corsair 220 RGB, that was $110. My CPU, i5 9600K, I think that's about $150 these days. The RTX 2070, we'll say that's about $250 these days. This PSU was $55. This RAM right here, the Corsair 16 gigs, the Corsair Vengeance, that was $55. The cooler was $30. I bought that off of Amazon. The motherboard, the ASRock B365 Pro 4, that was about $120. And then the storage,
Fortnite 360 Hz. Said, for the value PS5 is better definitely.
And then the storage, I put a Western Digital M.2 drive in there. And then the Western Digital. So the two drives that I got in there was about $100. So I think this computer right here, based on all the stuff in here, my streaming PC named Bumble Bee, I think everything comes out to be about $600 or $700. And I took shortcuts and bought the cheapest shit that I could find. The cheapest shit that I thought was quality or satisfactory. So this streaming PC right here, I'm going to say that I've got anywhere between $600 to $800 into that PC. This second PC right here, Voltron Jr. with the 3070 Ti, I think I've got at least $1,000 into that PC. And then this PC right here, Voltron, based on the prices that I've paid, I think I've got close to $3,000 into this PC. The case was $180 for the Corsair 5000D Airflow.
Fortnite 360 Hz. said, I wanted to give you a heads up, there are issues with MSI water coolers. Reports on overheating was seen on many forums. I have the Corsair cooler.
Well, I went again. Like I went with the MSI.
The underscore
water cooler.
C00N1985 said, Yo, Lincoln just got my PS5 for PSVR, but SSHH don't tell the ponies. Fortnite 360 Hz said, always monitor your temps.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because these this 3080 Ti and that 3070 Ti, these are the Nvidia cards that I have, not the AIBs. They put out a lot of heat, so I'm always like pulling out the Nvidia overlays, keeping an eye on the temperature. Um, the majority of the games that I play run at in the high 60s, like around 68 degrees. Um, but there are some games, especially like Star Wars Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront 2. The explosions on there is a light show. That game makes my second computer with the 3070 Ti. The temperatures on that are like
Fortnite
in the mid
360 Hz said, I mean monitor your CPU temps cause you are using MSI cooler.
Especially with this computer that I'm sitting at right here, I don't think the temperatures on the CPU gets above 50 degrees. And yeah, I think the majority of the games that I play, the CPU temps never seem to go above 50 degrees. It's the GPU. There's a couple of games that I play on that computer in there with the 3070 Ti. There's a couple of games where the temperatures jump up to like 85
Nico
degrees.
Said, Fortnite is garbage. Fortnite 360 Hz said, check the temps when you are gaming. Great Tantrum said, are you overclocking?
No.
Clark Kent said, CPU is fine, anything under 100C. Nico said, why play baby games?
Oh boy, that's between you guys. Tantrum, no, I'm not overclocking. But from what I understood, at least with these 3000 cards, the Nvidia cards were notorious for putting out a lot of heat. So I stay in a one-bedroom apartment, and this is the main living room right here. Then in there, this room over here is like where my computer desk is at. And right behind that room is the bathroom. And because of where I got my computer sitting, because I had to put it somewhere where it can breathe, because my computer desk is in the corner. And if I would have put the computer underneath the computer desk, the heat that it would have poured out would have bounced off the wall, came right back, and got recirculated right through the computer. So I had to put it somewhere where it can breathe.
Great Tantrum said, what is a man's game, Nico?
So yeah, sometimes when I'm in the bathroom, if I got the door open, I can feel the heat that the 3070 Ti is pouring out. So, yeah, I'll be ready to wrap this up in a few minutes. I definitely enjoyed this conversation with all of you. But one thing is for certain, when I get that 4090, I will do an unboxing. And then once I get it all hooked up, I will do some live benchmarks. But
Nico said, Red Dead Redemption 1 or The Witcher 3?
Well, I guess to jump into that conversation, I
Nico,
did like Red Dead Redemption
said,
1.
I don't know anything that does not have cartoony graphics. Clark Kent, said, I put my Helios 300 laptop directly in front of the air conditioner blasting on it. The underscore C00N 1985, said, can't have a heater while you dropping a hot one.
Good one, Coon. Um, Now, Nico, you said anything that does not have cartoony graphics. I think that's a little bit subjective because I'm a VR guy. And when it comes to these VR games, depending on how much content the game has, the more realistic the VR game looks, the more realistic the graphics, the more it taxes the hardware. And I think that's why
Fortnite
a lot of
360 Hz, said, be safe and get the updated PSU. Don't use the adapters when you get the 4090 cause you don't want to risk an issue. Nico, said, it is.
Okay. So
Nico, said, wrong choice of words. Decepticon, said, ah yet.
oh,
Nico,
Decepticon,
said,
Ronnie! What's up,
Half-Life
Decepticon? How
Alex
you
is a
doing?
good one.
I see you. I see you with virtual strangers when Wes says, "Hey, Decepticon, um. So what I was gonna say, Nico, is that some of these games have cartoony graphics because I think the developers meant it that way so it doesn't tax your hardware because they don't know. Well, like when it comes to PC, they don't know what you're using because the average person don't have a $3,000 computer that I got sitting here. Um, so that being said, there's some VR games out there that are cartoony that
Decepticon, said, ha.
yeah, yep. Like The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners is a good example. I haven't finished that game. It is a good game, but the game doesn't have photorealistic graphics.
Nico, said, but a lot of screaming are on Fortnite.
Mm,
Clark Kent, said, some cartoony graphics are cool, like Fortnite. Nico, said, screaming children asterisk. Great tantrum, said, Nico probably don't like Borderlands 2/3. Fortnite 360 Hz, said, have a good night. I enjoyed the conversation, good luck with the 4090 and definitely look into the updated PSU. It is not worth risking using an adapter and then finding out you destroyed the whole PC.
definitely agree with that.
Nico, said, I don't.
He said it don't like. Um, Clark Kent. I think a while back you talked about getting a
Nico, said, buy Fortnite kid.
No, that's what I meant to say. Fortnite 360. Um, a really good battle royale game in VR is Population One, and it is rumored that Fortnite could be coming to PSVR 2 in VR. So you might like that too when that happens. But Fortnite, I don't have anything against Fortnite. Now I'll be honest and say that I would prefer a game with photorealistic graphics. In VR, there is a couple of games. One of them I think is called Damn it!
Nico said, I like Saints and Sinners even though it has cartoony graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Great Tantrum said, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Doom, Quake, Half-Life, those kinds of games. Fortnite 360 Hz said, nice, maybe that's when I will upgrade, lol.
Yeah. So yeah, like there's a couple of games, battle royale games in VR. Population One is the most popular, and it's a lot of fun. There's another one called Standout, but it's been out for a few years, and I would probably say it's got
Great
kind of like some
Tantrum
PS2 looking graphics.
said, don't forget Medal of Honor.
Oh yeah, I've been playing Medal of Honor in VR. The graphics are pretty good. When it comes to VR, Half-Life Alyx, without a doubt, has the best graphics. I think Lone Echo 1 and 2 probably, you could probably make a case that they have the second best graphics, at least out of the ones that I've played. And I would put Medal of Honor above and beyond as far as VR games. I would put them in
Nico
the top 5.
said, don't upgrade Fortnite, kid. I don't think Fortnite really needs a good PC to run.
To me, with Fortnite 360, I'm under the impression that split-second timing is everything to him. So I'm led to believe that he wants as many frames as he can get. So it's got nothing to do with visuals. Um, so it's all about, that split-second twitch. Probably makes all the difference in whether he gets a kill or not. So for somebody to put that much into hardware for Fortnite tells you that he must be very, very competitive at Fortnite. So no, I don't have a problem with that at all. You know, I like the way he speaks of the kind of equipment that he has to play Fortnite. If I were to watch him play, I would probably be like, hell no, there's no
Nico
way I could do that.
said, IDC about graphics, just story and gameplay. Great Tantrum said, I think he said he turns down the graphics to make sure frames are up. Nico said, I don't like FPS either. Nico said, IDC.
I would be led to believe that if you're playing games on PC, if you don't care about frames per second, and you don't care about graphics, sounds to me like the original Xbox or the Xbox One S or something like that would be a decent machine for you. Um, I'm led to believe that anybody who has a PC, especially one that they put a few dollars into the PC, cares about graphics or frame rates, if not both. So that being said, um, if you don't like a game with cartoony graphics,
Great Tantrum said, LOL.
yeah. So if you don't like a game with cartoony graphics, I'm under the impression that whether it's a PS5 or a PC or something like that, that you must be
Great
using a machine
Tantrum
that's capable of.
said, Crapbox. Nico said, I do more than game.
Which is cool. But I highly doubt that, like, if you do editing and all kinds of stuff on a powerful PC, I highly doubt you're gonna jump off of that
Clark Kent
and then go over to a
said, yes,
Nintendo
even
64.
average Joes want good graphics and high FPS.
Yeah. So I highly doubt that if you got a powerful PC and you're doing editing and business work on it and stuff like that, I highly doubt that when you get done, you're gonna run over to a Nintendo 64 because you don't care about graphics or frame rate. So, yes, that's the whole purpose of me having this podcast because that I am abundantly clear that with this 4090, I wanted to get me the best visuals that I can get on the particular racing game that I play, or with the highest frame rate that I can get. And the 4090 should cover those bases. So, sheesh. But I think it's about time for me to go ahead and hang it up.
Said. However, I do care about FPS in competitive games like Battlefield, Warzone, Apex, etc. Great Tantrum. Said. Last Xbox system I had was the 360. After the PS4 Pro and PC, the Xbox brand means nothing to me. I got Sony exclusives and I can play Xbox games on my PC.
Pretty much.
Nico. Said. Or like Counter-Strike or something. You got cold yogurt. Said. Flat games have peaked, can't wait for PSVR 2.
You know, cold yogurt, my biggest reason for being excited for PSVR 2 is because developers will come back to PC VR. Right now, the Quest is where all the money's at, so everybody's making all these games with these rinky-dink graphics for the Quest 2. When PSVR 2 comes out, then developers will have a revenue stream that will be worth it for them to make, some PC VR type
what
games.
What system are you going to pair the 4090 with? MB RAM SSD.
Currently, I have a DDR4 MSI Z690. I think it's a Z690 Pro, I believe. I have 64 gigs of RAM on this PC.
Said. I don't like consoles because they are limited.
I get that. That's why I jumped over to PC, because the PlayStation VR was limited in what it was offering. They didn't give us a lot of multiplayer games, and at the time that I made the jump to PC, there was not a lot of first-person shooter games.
You got cold yogurt. Either. Said. Yeah, I'm eyeing the PMax 12K wireless modular headset.
As far as PC VR headsets goes, I was thinking about the Pico 4.
Great Tantrum. Said. Nico, now you are just shouting. Consoles have their place.
I can agree with that too. I say that... What in the world? TV went out for a second. I say that the consoles are limited in the from the point of view that you only get what they offer you. They do offer you a lot, but PC offers you so much more in terms of games. Now PlayStation VR has a ton of games. When I made the jump to PC VR, it wasn't because the PlayStation VR didn't have a lot of games. They had a lot of games. What they didn't have was a lot of multiplayer games.
I do like the exclusives for PlayStation.
For PlayStation, yeah.
Said. PlayStation asterisk.
So with PSVR, what they didn't have at the time.
Nico. Said. They need to add The Last of Us 1 remake.
It's coming. If you're talking about they need to add it to PC, it's coming. When they showed the trailer, they already said it. They said it was already in development for PC. My guess is on PlayStation, on PS5, they're going to milk it for as much as they can, and then once the sales start to taper off, then that's when they'll probably give us a date when it's going to come to PC.
Nico. Said. Yes.
Yeah, it's coming to PC. They said it was. That came out of Sony's mouth. The Spider-Man that just came to PC. I'm waiting for somebody to put out a mod for it, and then I'm going to grab it, because I already have it on PlayStation. I have Miles Morales.
You got cold yogurt.
Thing.
Said. Miles Morales is coming to PC soon.
Same thing.
Great Tantrum. Said. Nico, That is it. PC is awesome, I hear you. But it is expensive and one needs to tinker to get games running good on PC. Whereas console have great games out of the box. Great Tantrum said. The main limitation is no mods like PC for console players.
Tantrum, when you were saying that consoles have great games out of the box, if you're talking about in terms of the performance, in most cases with the PlayStation that would be true because Sony prioritizes performance over graphics. Whereas Microsoft with the Xbox One X, from what I understand,
Nico said. But consoles have input delay. Nico said. It's annoying.
Some games I might notice it on console, the input lag, but some of them I don't. So that's where it is. I mean, it's not a game breaker or a game changer to me. It's a game by game basis. But what I was going to say about the situation with the Xbox One X, because they tried to say that it was the world's most powerful console, from what I understood, Microsoft stipulated that every game that came to the Xbox One X had to look better than the PS4 Pro, and it came at the expense of frame rates. So when Digital Foundry was running a lot of their analysis on these games between the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, in a lot of cases the One X looked
Nico
better than the PS4 Pro,
said,
but they ran like shit.
I got cold yogurt.
So
Great Tantrum said. I don't notice input delay. No more so than what I feel on PC. That is more to do with your setup.
And what you two are going back and forth about, for me, is a case by case basis. I can't really say offhand when's the last time I played a game off the top of my head on console where the input lag was so bad that I was ready to throw the controller out the window or something. And I can say that, and I can go as far as saying that if PSVR would have had the things that I was looking for, more multiplayer games and more first-person shooter games, I might not have bought a PC. That is why I bought a PC in the first place. Because there was a ton of first-person shooter games in VR, and there was a ton of multiplayer
Nico
games in VR on PC.
Said. Playing on a TV literally has input delay. Nico said. What drug are you on?
Well, I have to throw an asterisk there, Nico, because just because somebody has a console doesn't necessarily mean they're playing on a TV. And Sony just released a monitor, a PC monitor that's compatible with PlayStation. So, but Nico, wait a minute. Based on you saying that you didn't care about frames per second, I would be led to believe that you don't care about input lag.
Nico said. Ick.
I'm led to believe that when you came in here, the one thing that you were speaking the most about
Nico
was photorealistic graphics.
Said. The monitor doesn't have input delay.
It has less input delay than the TV, and if you buy some cheap bullshit, it can have more input lag than the TV. So I think that's subjective.
Said. I do because I have a consoles and it's bad. Nico said. Like really bad.
Again, when you came in here, you led me to believe that, you said you didn't care about frame rate, so that leads me to believe you didn't care about performance, just the photorealistic graphics. So now you care about performance? Looking a little bit, flip-floppy there, my guy.
Nico said. Console asterisk.
now that the PS5 can do a lot of games at 60 frames per second, jumping back and forth between
Nico
my PCs,
said, no. Great
jumping.
Tantrum said, TVs don't suffer input delay like they used to.
Mhm.
I
So,
can't tell the difference.
so what I was going to say was when I jump back and forth between my PS5 and my PCs, performance, I don't really see a difference. The where I can tell the difference is that the PC, the games look sharper on PC than they do on console. The consoles look great. It's just that the PC is slightly sharper. And that takes us back to the price for performance and why I said the PS5 is worth every penny, worth the
Nico
$500.
said, I have a 6-year-old TV. Nico said, maybe that's why.
Well, that explains that.
Great Tantrum said, TVs today have game/PC monitor modes that turn off TV effects that games don't need.
This would be true, Tantrum. This TV in particular right here that I'm sitting at does have a game mode, but I don't use it because it does alter the color a little bit. It gives the TV, it gives the color like a slightly tinted sheen, and I like turning on I like putting my settings on HDR Vivid, and it gives these games pop. It gives the colors a lot of pop. Um, but yeah, you got a real good point there that a lot of TVs have a game mode. So, holy smokes, I've been live for over 2 hours. I really need to get going. I'm getting hungry, and I want to get a little bit of time in on this Modern Warfare beta because it ends tomorrow. So I want to at least get another hour in of that before I go to bed. And case in point with that Modern Warfare beta, it doesn't matter whether I play it on PC or PS5. The performance seems to be the same from my end. I don't notice anything with the naked eye. The one thing that I notice is that on PC, anybody with a beard, the hairs look sharper. You can see an individual hair more on PC versus on console. That beard may look like a black patch or
Great
something. So
Tantrum said, and you still don't notice the delay, Clay?
no, and in that Modern Warfare beta is a prime example. I don't jump. I don't play it on my PC.
Great Tantrum said, Bone Labs this 29th coming.
Yep, that is also the same day that we get the ACC update on PS5, which is supposed to bring the specs up to the PC. It's supposed to have 400 hertz force feedback, because currently it's got 60, and PC's got 400 or 440 or something like that. So that's supposed to bring the force feedback and the physics and all that stuff uh, up to PC range. So what I was going to say was, I play the Modern Warfare beta on PC, and then I come over and play it on the PlayStation. I haven't seen anything where I'm like, man, it turns to the right much slower on PS5 than it does on PC. I don't see any difference because I'm still outputting with delays with displays that are 60 hertz. I don't see a difference. The only difference I see is in the visuals. PC looks slightly better than PS5. I have a $3,000 PC, and that Modern War beta looks slightly better than the PS5. And that takes me back to where the PS5 is
Great
worth every bit
Tantrum
of that $500.
said, what does that mean 60 Hz vs 400 Hz force feedback?
How fast the response is when you turn the wheel. You see this wheelbase that I'm sitting at right here? 60 hertz versus 400 hertz. I turn that wheel right there, the 60 hertz versus the 400 hertz. That's going to make the difference in how fast the car actually responds when you turn that wheel. So right now on the PS5 version of ACC, my biggest gripe with the force feedback is that it's missing some things. I don't feel it when the brakes lock up, and I don't feel it when the wheels spin. So let me show you something real quick, and I'm sure some of you guys have seen it before.
Great Tantrum said, "Oh."
Let me see here. Show you guys my oh, right up here. Let me go back up to the top. Right there, right there, that camera that I just showed you guys, those are for my pedals down there. Those are load cell pedals, and those pedals cost close to $400. This wheelbase right here is $1,200. 60 hertz versus 400 hertz makes all the difference in the world. At 400 hertz, if I hit the brakes, you guys see my feet right there. If I hit the brakes, the response is going to be pretty much instantaneous. Whereas at 60 hertz, there might be a slight delay when I hit the brakes. So they're supposed to bring the PS5 up to 400 hertz. Now, the developers were saying that the reason why it's taking so long to give us this update, they said on console they can't roll these updates out the way they'd like to, because you have to do the update, you have to submit the update, and it has to go through a certification process, and it costs money to submit these updates. So they said they can't update the consoles as much as they update PC. So they were letting us know that on console, they didn't forget about the console people. It took some time to get all this together. And so that huge update that everybody's been waiting for is supposed to happen on the 29th. And so the
Great Tantrum said, "That is what the 360 Hz guy tried to say. You can tell the difference."
And it wasn't in me. It wasn't my place to try to say that I couldn't tell the difference, because based on the equipment that he said he had, and based on how competitive he seems to be at Fortnite, I'm led to believe that if he says he can tell the difference, I have to take him at his word. Like my son said, he can see the difference between 30 frames and 60 frames. Whereas me, if I see 30 frames and then I walk out of the room and come back an hour later and you show me 60 frames, I'm not going to be able to tell the difference unless you put them side by side like Digital Foundry or some shit like that. Then I'll be able to see it. So bottom line is, Fortnite 360, that seems to be where his expertise is at. So it's not my place to say that he couldn't see the difference between 400 frames in 100 frames. Because I've had some situations with these racing games where I flew off the track because the brakes did not immediately respond when I applied the brakes. There's been times when I hit the brakes, and by the time the car actually started to slow down, I had already flew off the track. So yeah, I get where he was coming from. So performance is everything with him. So for him, it's got nothing to do with the cartoony graphics. Fortnite is
Clark Kent
obviously a competitive game.
Said, "You are not sensitive to TV, but you are sensitive to VR." Great Tantrum said, I notice I had to check YouTube to see if I am watching a 30 FPS video or a 60 FPS videos.
I'm streaming at 60 frames per second. I don't know how it comes up on YouTube though. Uh, it said you're not sensitive to TV, but you're sensitive to VR. I mean, I don't quite get what you might mean by that, but no, I'm not affected by VR in terms of like motion sick or anything like that. No, I'm not affected by it. But I can say that in VR, I can definitely see the difference between 40 frames and 80 frames. Because 40 frames in VR is terrible. It's juddery, it's janky. And 80 frames in VR is smooth. So you guys are going to put me in a position where if I don't hurry up and get my ass off of this stream, I'm going to end up loading up Modern Warfare anyway. So I should go ahead and shut it down right here. Plus, it's getting warm. I'm burning up, and I'm ready to turn the fans back on and crank the AC
Clark
back up.
Kent said, I mean you need high specs to be comfortable, in TV you don't.
Yeah. That's true.
Great Tantrum said, now 60 Hz CRT or plasma TVs drive me nuts. Flicker City.
So, and I'm not contesting that either because you probably know more about TVs than I do. Clark Kent, what you say right there is you need high specs to be comfortable in VR. In most cases, that would be right. It depends on the headset. It depends on the headset and it depends on the game that you're playing. If you're playing a game that's not very demanding at all, then you're not going to need a super beefy computer to make it run good. But say a game like Microsoft Flight Simulator in VR, yes, you need as much power as you can get your hands on. The last time I streamed Microsoft Simulator, Flight Simulator, I had a 3070 in my computer. And I think that stream, I think the game was running at about 40 frames per second. I knew that it was under 60 frames, but the stream did not look bad enough that I thought it was 40 frames. So yeah, it depends on the game you're playing. So yeah, a game like Microsoft Flight Simulator,
Great
or the
Tantrum
racing games that I play,
said,
yeah.
on an old CRT monitor I needed to run at least 75 Hz to avoid screen flicker.
Monitor I got in there is 15 years old, maybe older. 1080p 60. Runs great. It's a dinosaur in today's world, but games still look good at it in 1080p. But again, it's a situation where because I play mostly VR games, I don't see the need to upgrade because I don't play a lot of flat screen games. Because if I played flat screen games the same way that I play VR games, I would have one of those LG OLED TVs that cost about $3,000 sitting in front of me right now. So, I know I keep saying this, but I'm about to get my ass on out of here. My voice is getting scratchy. Again, I'm thirsty. I'm hungry, and I want to get some Modern Warfare in before I boogie on out of here. So, I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there before I find myself on another hour. But I definitely appreciate all of you coming in. Great conversation, and I wish every stream was like this. But,
Clark Kent said. Plasmas are 600 Hz.
But not everybody's a fan of racing games that I normally do on this channel. But you know what? Just a second. Because I'm going to take a second to put a link in the channel. I'll put a link in the comment to my other channel, The Godfather of VR, where I stream a lot of other, where I brought that channel back to life. It had been, I had...
Great Tantrum said. 600 Hz is for motion, not for refresh rate.
Hold on, let me...
It flickers at 60 Hz still. Clark Kent said. Have fun playing games.
Okay, hold on a second, everybody. This is my other channel right here, The Godfather of VR. And in this one, I take on the role of a godfather, of a mob boss who does VR. This is one of my old streams right here, from about a year ago. And the reason why I stopped, I ain't going to say I stopped, but it was getting to be too much trying to run 2 VR channels. Because at the time, I'm running 2 VR channels. I'm working 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. I'm still trying to go to the gym 3-4 days a week. I got my son. It was just like all the shit that was going on. It was just not enough hours in the day. And so something had to go. And
Great Tantrum said. A friend of mine has a good Panasonic plasma TV and I can see the flicker on it.
So what I'm going to do is put a link into this, put the link to this channel in here. And so let me come back to this stream here. That is the link to my other channel, The Godfather of VR. And that channel, now that I
Lincoln
brought that
Clay
channel back,
said. https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=by 7 check q ampersand t=1837s.
oh Christ. So anyway, that's the link to my other channel, The Godfather of VR. I'm streaming anything VR there. The latest game that just came out is NFL Pro Era. So what I'm doing is every week I am either replicating the Monday night football game or the Thursday night football game. I take those 2 teams, I play a game, and then we'll see how my final results compare to the real life games. I've been playing
Great
Medal of Honor
Tantrum
VR.
said. Ha 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 ha.
I've also been playing Medal of Honor VR. So I'm looking to finish that. And there's some other games that I want to go back. Lone Echo, Asgard's Wrath, Sniper Elite VR. So definitely sub to that game, to that channel. And again, I play that channel. I'm pretty much playing anything VR, whether it's a first-person shooter, whether it's a story-driven game, what have you. So if you want to see something other than VR sim racing, but you still want to see VR, sub to that channel. I try to do 1 or 2 videos or streams a week from that channel. So definitely sub to that channel. I would appreciate it. And we will see you on my next stream on the other channel, The Godfather of VR. Once we get the update for ACC on PS5 and they bring it up to PC specs, I am going to be looking to stream that on Twitch again. And so keep that in the back of your head too. So now with that, I am ready to boogie on out of here. And I want to thank everybody for watching. It's a great conversation. I hope we can do this from time to time. And we will see you all on the next
Great Tantrum said. Later.
We'll see you, Great Tantrum. Appreciate you tuning in. Nico, Fortnite, Clark Kent, C Slim, everybody that tuned in, I really appreciate it. With that, I am out of here, and until the next one, you all know the line. Wakanda forever. Long live the king, and deuces. We'll see you all. Everyone have a good night. I'm going to grab a bite to eat and play the Modern Warfare beta. We will see you all soon. Have a good night.